Now let's talk about percentages. So a percentage is just essentially a number written out of 100. So it's very hard sometimes for people to wrap their brains like what a percent means. So imagine, for example, if you said a company is made up of 40% women. So what that means is if you had a random group of 100 people, you would expect approximately 40 of them to be women. So again, that percentage is always out of 100. The bad part about percentages, though, is that real life is not always out of 100. So we got to know how to manipulate percentages in order to deal with the situation that we're given. One way of doing that is to change percentages to fractions. And so since percent always means out of 100, anytime you have a percentage, your denominator would be 100. And then it's just a matter of simplifying it. So 38 out of 100 was simplified down into 19 over 50. Same thing here, even if it's over 100%, we could still write it over 100. Now, keeping this as an improper fraction, we could simplify it down to 21 over 20. And then this one, you never want to have a decimal as part of your fraction. So in order to fix that, what we can do is move the decimal one place to the right to make this 25. If we're going to do that, we also have to add one zero. So this is the same thing as 25 over 1,000. Which if you divide both of those by 25, you get a reduced fraction of 1 over 40. So again, percents to fractions, you're going to write the percent over 100. Now to go from percents to decimals, it's a matter of moving your decimal place. So I always tell people, imagine the alphabet. So if you're going from percent to decimal, that's P to D. So it's like, which direction are you going on your alphabet? Where you're going down the alphabet, so you're moving to the left. Whereas if you're going decimal to percentage, you're going D to P, decimal to percent, you're moving up the alphabet, so you're moving to the right. And notice it's always two places. So a percent to the decimal, 67 is a whole number, so your decimal is technically at the end. Sorry, I keep doing that. And then we're going to move it two places to the left to change it to a decimal. So this would be 0.67. If you already have a decimal, just pick it up where it is and move it two places to the left. If you have any holes, you always fill them in with zeros. So this would be 0.005. Again, my decimal is down here at the end, and I'm going to move it two places to the left. So this is going to be 2.10 or just 2.1. Now, if I already have a decimal and I'm trying to go to a percentage, again, think about what direction. You're going to move two places to the right. So this would be 0.6%. Make sure you put your percent symbol. We're going to move it two places again to the right, fill in your hole. So this is going to be 150%. And if you already have a whole number, it's down here at the end. I'm going to stop doing that eventually. And then we're going to move it two places to the right. We're going to fill in those holes. So this would be 200%. Fractions to percentages, my suggestion first is to change them to a decimal by dividing, and then do that same thing. I want you to move that decimal whichever direction you need to go. So in this case, if we have 10 over 13, if I'm typing that in my calculator, I'm going to type it in as 10 divided by 13, which gives me the decimal 0.76. I usually try to go about 4 decimal places. And then we're going to move it 2 places to the right. So that's going to be 76.92%. 9 over 10, again, you're going to put in your calculators 9 divided by 10, which is 0.9. Just don't forget to move that decimal 2 places to the right. So this would be 90%. And for this one, I would keep the 1 right where it is. So this is 1 point, and then do 7 divided by 8, which is going to be 875, so 1.875. Again, don't forget though to pick up that decimal and move it 2 places to the right. So this would be 187.5%. I want you to pause for a minute and try this chart here. So what you're doing is, if you're given a fraction, I want you to try changing it to a decimal and percentage, or if you're given a percentage, try changing it to a decimal and a fraction. You can go back in your notes and look and check and see how you do that. And then once you're ready, hit play, and then you can check your answer. So here's the chart filled in. So you can see, to change the fraction to a decimal, we divide and then move that decimal over. If you're given the percentage, you move that decimal 2 places back, and then you can write that as over 100 since it's 28 hundredths. This one you could go either direction first. I moved it 2 places to the right to change it to a percentage. And then I said this was 900, so 9 over 100. Move it 2 places to the left would give you 0.414, and then this is the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place, so that would be 414 over 1,000, which simplifies to 207 over 500. Again, move it 2 places to the right would be 87.5%, and then this is 875 over 1,000, which reduces to 7/8. And this one, I would do the 3 divided by 5, which is 0.6. So 2.6, moving that decimal 2 places to the right gives you 260%. Now, if you're given very simple proportions, there's a little shortcut you could use to solve them. The one that I like is here. It's is over of equals the percent over 100. And I know that doesn't mean anything to you right now, but it will in just a second. If you're given a word problem, I would tell students to set it up as the part of something out of the whole thing is equal to the percent over 100. Just know that on your homework, they call part amount and they call the whole the base. I don't typically use these because that doesn't really mean anything to students, but if I tell a student the whole thing, they usually know that means the total, so that goes at the bottom. And part of something is just a fraction of something, so that goes at the top. So let's look at these examples. 17 is what percent of 85? So these little short problems here, you can use that shortcut, which is over of equals the percent over 100. So you're given the is, so that's your numerator. You don't know the percentage, so in your proportion, this would be x. But you do know the of, so it says of 85. So that means 85 goes at the bottom. Once you get that set up, it's a matter of cross multiplying. So 17 times 100 divided by 85. So this gives you x is equal to 20. And since it's a percent, we'll put 20%. This one says 36 is 72% of what number? So that means you know your is, you know your percentage, which is always over 100. You're missing the of, so x would go at the bottom. So cross multiplying, we would get 50. And then this says, what is 84% of 150? So percent over 100. Of 150 means 150 goes at the bottom. So cross multiplying here, we would get 126. So pause it for a minute and try these and then hit play to check your answer. So this one, the of goes at the bottom, so 752. Is goes at the top. You don't know the percent, so that's over 100. Cross multiplying with this one, you should have gotten, about rounded would be 3.3%. And then this one, you're given the percentage and you're given the is. So this would be your percent. Is goes at the top. Of you don't know. And cross multiplying there, you would have gotten 20. Now when you have a percent word problem, I tell people try to identify the part and the whole, and then what is the percentage. You're going to set up a proportion, assign a variable for what you don't know, and then you're going to cross multiply and solve. So let's look at some examples. Kevin earned 120 credit hours, needs to earn 120 credit hours for his degree. He's currently earned 84. It's asking for the percentage. So I know since I need my percentage, that's what I don't know. So this would be x over 100. 84 is the part that he has earned. 120 is the whole degree or the total. So 120 goes at the bottom. Typically, it's smaller number out of larger number. So when you cross multiply in this case, we get that he has completed 70% of his degree. This one says on her first check at a restaurant, 15% was withheld from her total earnings of $225. We want to know what amount was withheld. The percent always goes over 100. Since this was her total earnings, that's the whole, and we don't know the amount or we don't know the part. So when you cross multiply in this case, we know that she was withheld $33.75. And then finally, 60% of the people that attended the movie, 60% of the people that attend a movie buy popcorn. 87 people bought popcorn. We want to know how many people attended the movie. It's this type that you really have to be careful with. The percent again goes over 100. 87 is either going to go at the top or the bottom. You just have to ask yourself, does 87 represent the whole, so the total number of people, or does it just represent part of something? 87 is just the number of people that bought the popcorn. You don't know the total number of people at the movie. So cross multiply in this case, 145 people attended the movie. If you have any questions at all, please make sure that you email me and I will definitely get back to you and try to answer your questions and help you guys out. Hope you guys have a great week.